This is my Rubie's PKE meter. They're not 100% accurate, we all know that. But with a little bit of work and a little bit of paint, it gets the job done. And I absolutely love this thing, with one exception. The factory sound effects are awful. They don't sound anything like what we remember from the movie. And it drives me nuts. But today, we're going to fix that with this. So this is the mini PKE meter made by Running Press. I bought this off Amazon for like less than $10 after shipping. It's tiny, it's cute, but most importantly, it sounds a whole lot closer to what a PKE meter should sound like. We've got two different modes that changes the lights. They're hard to see, but our arms pop up. It's cute. But I think I can take the soundboard out of this and we should be able to wire it in to our Rubie's PKE and change up our sound effects. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So let's take this apart and see what we got. The first thing I can see is it says this runs off of 3 1.5 volt batteries, which means we're going to be running at 4.5 volts. I know that the Rubie's runs off of 2 AA or 2 AAA's, which is going to make that run on 3 volts. So I've seen people do this mod before. I am assuming, I'm hoping that it will run off of 3 volts okay, but only time will tell. All right, so what we've got is a single board with a battery connection and a momentary switch connection here. And then there's our momentary switch that turns it on, changes the mode, and turns it back off. And then we have LEDs that do things. We don't care about the LEDs right now. What I am hoping is that I can wire this switch in somehow to use the limit switch and the activation switch on the Rubie's PKE to turn the sound on and off with everything as normal. There we go. There's our tiny speaker connection. There's our momentary switch. Here's our battery connection. Well, that is a tiny, tiny speaker, isn't it? Uh-huh. And that seems to be kill switch. We may be able to use that. That may be a good thing. We'll see. All right. First things first, we don't need any of this anymore. As cute as it is, that's not why we're here. We are going to clip our power leads. Roll the rest of that out of the way. And there is our momentary switch button. And our speaker connection. should this work. I'm going to strip this back right here. We're going to strip this here. Now let's, I've got a power supply here. It just takes a couple of AA's. That should give us 3 volts. Some batteries. All right. Stick our power in here. Just to double check. And 3 volts. All right. If we turn it on, and we have success. So it will run off of 3 volts with our tiny little speaker. All right. Now let's see what this switch does. Nothing. Okay. That is just our spring. I guess that's just our spring that locks everything in place, because it is not turning it on and off. It's not really doing much of anything. Okay then. I think it is time to heat up the soldering iron and see what kind of trouble we can get into. Alright, while that heats up, we'll dive into here. Now I've been into this many times. I have rewired lights, I have rewired switches, but I haven't really paid just a whole lot of attention to what makes it tick. So what we've got are 2 limit switches, one that tells it when it's all the way to the top, one that tells it when it's all the way at the bottom. It goes all the way to the top, it activates that, and tells the motor to stop. Come all the way down, it activates that, and while it's running, if that gets activated, it turns it off. What we want is for the board to come on when we activate that. And what I would like is for that to turn it off. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I can always drill a hole, hide the button back here so I can turn it on manually. But what I would really, really prefer is for everything to work as it's supposed to. So we will see. I don't know that I need the board for anything. I need to access the board. I don't think. Because I can wire this straight to this switch, or this switch that activates the whole system, so that it turns that on at the same time. The problem is the double activate, or the two modes that this switch runs. That would mean when the switch gets flipped again, it would just flip to the next mode instead of turning it off. All right, I'm going to have to think about this. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've done some experimenting. I don't think I'm going to be able to make this work completely automatic like I had hoped. It's maybe possible, but it's going to take somebody that is better at electronics than I am. So, we are back to wiring this up on its own switch, and I can just flip the switch at the same time that I turn it on. It still takes 2 presses to turn it off. Well, 3 presses in total. 1 to turn it on, 1 to change the mode, 1 to turn it off. So, what I think I'm going to do is I've got the original button that came with it, but I've got this little button. It's a little momentary switch that I have left over from a lightsaber build. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole back here so that when I'm holding it, I can just pop the button right there. And I think if I come off right about there, just about right there, I should be able to, when I turn it on, I can just press that switch as well. It's probably going to mean that there will be unintentional presses and unintentionally turning the sound on, but I think that is a chance I'm willing to take. So what I'm going to do right now is I need to pull this out so that I can get to the original speaker and disconnect that. So those awful chimes, awful beeps will go away. All right, set that aside. There is our speaker. So that is 2 contact points. And there we go. 1 and 2. And look at that. They are virtually identical. 8 ohm, 1/4 watt. Now, there we go. Should be able just to reattach these in their place. And 1. And 2. Just to make sure. we go. Still have sound. Okay. Disconnect our power. Disconnect our switch. I'm going to need a little more slack, both power and the switch. All right. Let's see how things are going to fit here. Okay, let's see how this is going to fit. I know speaker will mount right there. I think I should be able to tuck this in right under there. I may need to take don't know if I can. Let's see. We tuck that in there. Tuck our speaker in. There. The board goes there. And we just hot glue the ever-loving crap out of it. And in theory, this would all drop in over yeah, I think that'll fit nicely. We run our power and just connect it up to the battery. And then our button comes up and it'll fit just about there. I think this might work. Now I just got to drill a hole and pray it fits. So we are looking at 3.45, 3.4 millimeters, which in heathen sizes is going to bring us to about a 9/64. I can do that. I think, let's see. We'll go with red. Drill a hole right there. Call it right there. I think that should be out of the way of any of my wires and switches. All right, 9/64. Nine-sixty-fourths. You know what? I want to test this before I start getting too spunky. Let's go ahead and solder on my switch here. All right, double check. Positive to positive. Negative to negative. And there we go. All right, switch works. Now, one more time, put our board back. Okay, let's see. I think it's time to get the old hot glue gun out. Get that heating. Okay. Alright. In theory, if I am right, with the power on, but not functional, I should not be able to turn on the sound. But the minute I can get my limit switch in place, there we go. The minute I activate my lights, I get nothing. Awesome. Well, that was fun. Okay. Make sure I haven't broken this thing completely. Okay. So that's out. All right. Plan B. This is why we test, right? Okay. So, let's see what happens when we go directly to the battery. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'll still be able to turn on the sound even when it's not, the rest of it's not on, but I'm not sure what else to do about that. I'm really not. So, this may be where I leave it for now until I figure something else new. But okay. Let's drill a hole. Made me a little starter nub there so that the bit would have something to grab hold of so it doesn't wander around. Go. Clean that up a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right. Should be nice, subtle. Yeah. I think we may be onto something here. All right, let's glue this bad boy in. We got glue, we've got glue. Hot glue to the rescue. Okay. And everything still works. Now for reassembly. There, all right. This may take more than hot glue to hold it in, but we're going to try this for now. And we'll just hot glue the ever-loving crap out of it. Okey-doke. All right, well, there we go. And there we have it. Here we took that little $2 toy and was able to use that to bring a little more accuracy to my Rubie's PKE meter. It's not an ideal solution. I still have to turn the sound on manually. But you know, I'm okay with that. It's subtle. It works. It gets the job done. And let's face it, we're just out here to have fun anyway. So that'll wrap that up. If anyone's got anything, if anybody knows how to tie this in so that one button turns it on and off and it works the way it did with the old sound effects, let me know. But I think that'll do it for now. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.